called the unpresidential that's going on.
Nature of all of that.
The unpresidential nature of what's going on. Dr. King believed that one should exude a spirit of love, of acceptance, of virtue, of morality, even in the context of politics. And I think he would be disturbed with a lot of what's going on, but I think he would urge those who are concerned about the future of our nation, about the beloved community, bringing people together, irrespective of racial differences, class differences, religious differences. I think he would have a lot to say to us about that, is that we should keep our eyes on what the American dream means.
Okay, very
And
good.
it means bringing people together, not putting up walls, not setting up barriers, but creating bridges of understanding and goodwill and cooperation. I think he would have a very powerful message to deliver to us in this political season.
And he would certainly urge all of our people to participate, well, not our people, all people to participate in the political processes.
I think he would see it as a moment of urgency, because we don't want our nations to fall into the hands of the wrong leaders. Leaders that will divide us, leaders that will cause all kinds of tragedy and confusion and uncertainty for the future. I think he would be very concerned about that today.
Yeah, and so in a real sense, you think that by demonstrating Dr. Martin Luther King from that perspective, that it will be encouraging to a large number of other folks that might know.
I think the King legacy has a lot to teach us about how we might deal with what's going on today in political circles. I really think so. Dr. King always said that morality and ethics also apply to politics.
To politics,
You gotta have
to.
Exactly. You gotta have,
because if you're going to lead folks, you ought to be some credibility in terms of where you're leading them.
Yeah, and then you got to exude those kinds of qualities of leadership, which has to do with ethics, which has to do with altruistic concerns. That is, being concerned about the welfare of all people, and coming up with policies that benefit the common good. I think this is what Dr. King was about, and I think we need to revisit. And I think this is what the book Behind the Public Veil is about. It's about revisiting the images of Dr. King. What was he about? What values did he put before us? How did he translate those values into practical action and practical reality and public policy? Exactly. And this is what we are about.
Very good. And I think we've got about a minute and a half, Dr. Baldwin, before we end this show for today. But I think that what you have in terms of this book, I think it can go a long way in terms of bringing more people into this whole discussion in reference to civil rights and whatever, and I think it leads the way in terms of pointing us to where we ought to go and where we can go.
Yes. I'm working with a group of Vanderbilt professors now on a new book on King called Revives My Soul Again. And the subtitle is The Spirituality of Martin Luther King Jr. What we're actually doing is building on the book that I've just written, Behind the Public Veil, to humanize King and to put him before the public as a human being who had a higher human and ethical ideal that he was striving for. And that if we read him carefully and learn from him, then we too will strive toward those human, those high human and ethical ideals.
That no matter who you might be, you can always emulate something that's greater than who you are.
And we're all struggling for this greater idea.
Very good. And of course, let me thank you, Dr. Baldwin, over the last half minute that we have here for bringing by that information. And that's why we continue to call upon you. Because not only do you bring a book every time you come, but you bring so many ideas and so many things that we never thought of in terms of who Dr. Martin Luther King is and who he was.